This is a real story about Eddie the Eagle, a British ski jumper whose real name is Michael David Edwards. He became famous at the 1988 Winter Olympics, not because he won, but because he refused to disappear. Michael Edwards was born in Cheltenham, England, in 1963. His family called him Michael, but school friends shortened his surname into Eddie. Years later, the world added the name Eagle after watching him fly from a ski jump. Eddie did not grow up as a rich young sportsman with perfect equipment. His father worked as a builder and plasterer, and Eddie learned plastering too. It was practical work, but Eddie wanted an Olympic life. As a child, Eddie loved sport and was braver than many people expected. He played football, cricket, rugby, and other games. But when he was 12, a bad knee injury ended his football dream, though not his love of sport. His leg was in plaster from ankle to thigh, and he spent about 2 years going in and out of hospital. For many people, that would have ended a sporting dream. Eddie only looked for another one. When he was 13, Eddie tried skiing on a school trip. He loved the speed, the cold air, and the feeling of control. Back in Britain, he practiced on dry ski slopes, far from real mountains. His first serious goal was downhill skiing. Eddie trained often and became a strong amateur speed skier. He dreamed of representing Great Britain at the Winter Olympics, but downhill skiing needed money, travel, coaching, and support. Eddie did not have those things, so he worked whenever he could. He did plastering jobs and took casual work to pay for training. Every small payment became another chance to ski somewhere new for the next journey. He travelled through Europe in cheap and uncomfortable ways. Sometimes he slept in his small vehicle in freezing weather. Sometimes he stayed in rough places near training centres abroad because he could not afford normal rooms. There were days when he had almost no money for food. Later, Eddie said he had taken food from bins while chasing places to train. This was not a sports dream, with clean uniforms and easy meals. After all that effort, downhill skiing still did not open the Olympic door. Eddie was disappointed, but he did not stop. He searched for another path, and that path was one of the most dangerous winter sports. The new sport was ski jumping. It was a strange choice for a British skier in his 20s, with very little experience. Most top jumpers began as children, and Britain had almost no Olympic ski jumping tradition. That problem also gave Eddie a chance. There were no other British ski jumpers trying for the Olympic place. If he could reach the qualification standard, if he learned fast enough, he might represent Great Britain by himself. But ski jumping was not a shortcut. A jumper starts high above the ground, races down a steep track, and leaves the edge at high speed. A small mistake can become a painful fall or a serious injury. Eddie trained in Lake Placid, New York, where John Vescombe and Chuck Berghorn supervised his early jumping through practice and advice. The famous film later invented one main coach, but the real story was less simple. Eddie learned from different people and copied what he could. Chuck Berghorn helped him with equipment, but the equipment was not perfect. Some ski boots were too large, so Eddie wore several pairs of socks. His body was another problem. Eddie was heavier than most ski jumpers, and he was very far-sighted. He wore thick glasses under his goggles, and the glasses could mist up before a jump when he needed clear vision. The falls came again and again. Across his career, Eddie suffered many injuries from repeated crashes, including skull fractures, a broken jaw, broken ribs, and damage to his collarbone, knees, fingers, toes, back, and neck. Each injury could have been a clear message to stop. Each hospital visit could have made the dream look foolish. But Eddie came back again and again because the Olympic idea had already taken hold of him. This is what made Eddie unusual. He was not special because everything came easily. He was special because almost nothing came easily. And he still found a way to stand at the top again after failure and pain. In 1987, Eddie represented Great Britain at the World Championships in Oberstdorf, Germany, after only a short jumping career. He finished near the bottom, but the result helped him qualify for the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary, Canada. When Eddie learned he had reached the Olympic team, he was not living like a sports star. He was working as a plasterer and surviving with little money. For him, qualification already felt like a medal. At Calgary, Eddie competed in the 70-meter and 90-meter ski jumping events. The best jumpers flew much farther, while Eddie fought simply to belong. Matti Nikkanen of Finland, one of the greatest jumpers in history, won both events. Eddie finished last in both competitions. On the results table, he was far behind the leaders. Some officials and athletes were embarrassed by the attention he received and thought he made the sport look less serious. The public saw something different. They saw a man with borrowed equipment, misty glasses, and years of struggle behind him. He knew he was not the best, but he jumped anyway in front of the world. Some newspapers treated him like a joke, and some people laughed at him. Eddie did not pretend to be a champion. He smiled, answered questions honestly, completed his jumps, and accepted the truth without hiding his limits. That honesty made people love him. Most people know what it means to fail, to lack money, or to be told they are not good enough, or start again after failure. Eddie made last place feel strangely brave. At the closing ceremony, the Calgary organizing president praised the athletes. He said some had broken records, some had made personal bests, and some had even soared like an eagle. Many listeners thought of Eddie. After the Olympics, Eddie became famous around the world. He appeared on television and at public events. Later, a film was made about his life, although many film details were changed for drama, but the real struggle was already there. The real Eddie did not need many extra inventions. He had worked ordinary jobs, slept in cold places, trained with poor equipment, broken bones, and kept going when the sensible choice was to quit completely. After Calgary, Olympic qualification rules became stricter, partly because of stories like Eddie's. Under the new, tougher rules, he tried to reach later Winter Olympics again, but he never returned as an Olympic ski jumper. Eddie also returned to normal work, including plastering. Fame came and went, but his story stayed alive long after the medals were awarded. People remembered him because he showed courage in a place where everyone could see his limits. Eddie the Eagle did not win gold. He did not stand on the Olympic podium. He did not defeat the greatest ski jumpers in the world. But he made people remember the courage behind last place. His story is real, and that is why it matters. Sometimes success is getting up after another fall. Sometimes it is working one more job for one more chance. Sometimes it is choosing to fly anyway.